Hello everyone, today is 13th of March. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Guys, in today's GS folder, we'll take a quote from Alexis de Tocqueville, the French thinker and the writer of Democracy in America. He says, "Nothing is more wonderful than the art of being free, but nothing is harder to learn how to use that freedom." Now, guys, this particular theme consistently runs into the Indian constitution as well, where the freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of expression, and all other types of freedom has been given, but at the same time the reasonable restrictions are also accompanied with them. Now guys, this particular quote you can utilize into that questions related to the fundamental right, particularly the questions on to the freedom of speech and expression in GS paper number 2. So guys, that is all about the GS folder, and now we'll be taking up the newspaper analysis in detail. Now, guys, taking up the first article. So, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper as well as the Indian Express newspaper. And here we can see that the summit that has been held between the Quad leaders. Now, guys, the Quad stands for Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, and it was initiated in 2007 as a brainchild of Shinzo Abe, the Prime Minister of Japan. From the very start, guys, the Quad has been described as an arc of democracies into the Indo Pacific and has primarily been oriented against the Chinese aggression or Chinese rise. Now, guys, it has assumed significant importance into the aftermath of COVID 19 because the origin of coronavirus is supposed to be in China, on which China is not cooperating. And at the same time, guys, China's rise has been rather aggressive, brash, and into this particular capacity, this forum or this grouping can be very much important. Now, guys, into this particular meet, some of the initiatives have been taken and we'll be seeing them one by one. Number one, it is the Quad Vaccine Initiative. Now, guys, under this Quad Vaccine Initiative, first of all, the vaccine know-how will be provided by the USA because it has one of the advanced vaccine know-hows into the name of Moderna and Pfizer vaccines, which are based on the mRNA platform. Then, guys, after providing the USA, India will utilize the production capabilities because it has the largest production capabilities. The funding will be provided by the Japan, and the logistic facilities to transport the vaccine from one place to another place will be provided by the Australia. So therefore, four countries will be coming together and will ramp up the vaccine development initiative. Now, first of all, the pandemic into the Indo-Pacific will be finished, and then these four countries will be coordinating with the COVAX facility as well as with the WHO, so that how by providing the vaccine, the entire world can be eradicated from the COVID-19 pandemic. Then, guys, after this Quad Vaccine Initiative, there are three specific working groups which have also been established. One is the Quad Vaccine Group, which we already discussed. Then there is the Quad Critical and Emerging Technology Working Group. Now, guys, into the summit, it was provided that the 21st century will be driven by the critical technologies into the telecommunication, renewable energy. Moreover, the fourth industrial revolution is also coming, so that how the technology can be shared, so that the shared prosperity and shared growth among the partners can come. All that particular thing will be discussed into this working group. Then the third is the Quad Climate Working Group. Now, guys, as the Joe Biden has assumed the presidency, the climate change initiatives have been on utmost priority, and into this particular thing it will be seen that how countries can coordinate to reach the Paris climate goals that were agreed in 2015. Moreover, guys, it will also be seen that how emissions can be reduced, mitigating technologies can be developed, and climate resilience how it can be developed between all the countries. So these are three designated working groups. And then, guys, the four countries, they have also taken a kind of a call where they have decided that the threats into the Indo-Pacific will be countered and free and open Indo-Pacific will be deployed. Now, this is a tacit reference to the China, who has been characterized by the unilateralist attitude into the entire region. We can see it into the context of South China Sea issue, the incursions into the LAC and into the China's neighborhood. Also, the hegemonic attitude of China can be seen. So that threat will be countered by the Quad working countries. Now, guys, this we can also see into the address that has been made by the leaders of the Quad countries. For example, the Joe Biden had said that we are renewing our commitment to ensure that the region is governed by international law, committed to upholding universal values, and free from coercion. Then, guys, the similar statements have also been given by the India, Australia, as well as by the Japan. So, guys, that is all about this particular article. I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and here we can see a recent direction has been given by the Supreme Court into the context of appointment of the state election commissions. Now, guys, it has been seen into the past few years that the state election commissioners and additional charge is being given either to the bureaucrats or to the executives. But this particular thing compromises the neutrality of the election commission, and the Supreme Court had said that the independence of election commission cannot be compromised at any cost into a free and functional democracies, and therefore when the government employees are being given the additional charge of the state election commissioner, it is just to make a mockery of the constitution. So therefore the Supreme Court had said that no such practice is to be followed, and the state where the bureaucrats are the state election commissioners, they should be removed, and in future now no such kind of practice is to be done. Now, guys, this particular matter came to a big limelight when the Goa provided its law secretary the additional charge of the state election commissioner. So, guys, this is all about this particular article. You can provide that how many a times the separation of powers is breached, but that particular thing is again and again systematically curbed by the Supreme Court's intervention. So that is all about this particular article, and now we'll move to the next article. Now, friends, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it can used as an example or as a case study into the answers related to the GS paper number 2 as well as GS paper number 4. See, often it has been said that information leads to enlightenment of the citizens, and this enlightenment gives a kind of an empowerment to the citizens, and when this empowerment is there, the citizens further asks even more information, and then even more enlightenment, then even more empowerment comes, and this cycle continues. So, guys, information is an important aspect, and even the World Bank document on good governance released in 1992 also provided that the transparency and information are the fundamental pillars of the good governance. Now, guys, into this particular capacity, we had brought even the Right to Information Act, where the citizens have been provided a right that they can seek the information. But, guys, many a times it has been seen that even after the legislative safeguard, the public information officers, they are not giving the information. Now, guys, as a safeguard, there are also the information commissions that has been established at the center as well as state level, but they have also been many a times failed to effectively act against the cases where the information is not being given. And, guys, as the 2020 marked the 15 years of the RTI, this year the RT is also very much important. Now, guys, here we can see a very good and appreciable role that has been played by the Rajasthan Information Commission. It has penalized five of the officials who had shown negligence in giving the information to the citizens. And now these five officers, they have been slapped with the penalties, and the fine that have been imposed onto them, it will be recovered from their salaries, which is actually a very good approach to proceed into these kind of matters. Now, guys, into this entire article, the details of the case and the fines have been given. You need not to go into that particular thing, but, guys, the fines ranging from 5,000 to 15,000 has been imposed. Now, guys, when the direct pecuniary liabilities or penalties are being imposed, it gives a very clear message that in no case the information can be denied, and when more of such kind of examples or such kind of precedences will be followed, there will be a kind of an awakening, a kind of an attitudinal change that will come into the mind of information officers, and the free flow of information then actually will begin. So, guys, this is a very good reference. Please do utilize it. And now we'll be moving to the next. Now, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, the editorial section, and it is talking about the Afghanistan peace plan that now the USA is taking under the presidentship of Joe Biden. Now, guys, before going into this article, there is some of the background information that you should know. See, in 2020, when the Donald Trump was president, he also initiated the Afghan peace talks, and these peace talks was to go on to the Doha. Now, guys, as part of these Doha peace talks, it was decided that the Taliban will give up their weapons, and they will pledge that they will not resort to violence, and in exchange, within the 14 months time, the US will withdraw their troops from the Afghanistan, and a mutual agreement was to be reached between these 14 months. Now, guys, this 14-month deadline is coming to an end, and the May is the time when the US has to withdraw its troop. But, guys, into this entire 1 year, nothing substantial has been achieved. the increased presence of Taliban and sustained attacks have been there. So now, guys, the Joe Biden is assuming that a unity government in Afghanistan should decide immediately what is to be done. Now, guys, what has happened? The US had invited a senior level meet into the Turkey. Into the senior level meet, the representatives of the government as well as the Taliban will be there. Moreover, guys, there will also be a multilateral conference which will consist the representatives of USA, Russia, China, Iran, India, and Pakistan. Now, guys, here India has also been included. It was not included when the Trump was coming out with the peace plan for the Afghanistan. Now, guys, here a lasting Afghan solution is to be found out. Now, guys, even the USA wanted to withdraw. Even Taliban wanted that the USA should withdraw and had even warned that if they will fail, then there will be a renewed violence that will be coming. But, guys, the US can simply not withdraw at this point of time because the Taliban's credentials have far been questioned. Even into these 14 months' time, the Taliban did not resort to the peace. And if USA withdrawn, then guys, even territorial gains can be made by the Taliban. Now, guys, though the matter has been struck, but the approach that now US is finally taking is very much inclusive approach because here the regional importance of the India has been taken in account, which can clearly be contrasted with the Trump administration's approach. Now, guys, the Trump held the direct talks with the Taliban, where the Afghanistan government was excluded, India was not included, and even the US had put pressure onto the Afghanistan government to release the Talibani prisoners. But, guys, even in all that particular thing, there was no concessions that were given by the Taliban's side in terms of reducing the violence. And now Joe Biden is very much skeptic of the Trump's approach, and therefore now entirely a new approach is being taken in account. And this thing is also very much true that into the present site there is no solution into the hand because, guys, to withdraw will be a problem, to not to withdraw will be a problem. So that is all into this particular article, and now we'll move to the next article. Now, guys, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it talks about the growing importance of the West Asia region. Now, guys, if we talk about the present times, then a multi nation exercise is going into the West Asia by the name of the Desert Flag. Into this exercise, there is participation from India, UAE, Bahrain, France, Saudi Arabia, Korea, and US. Now, as this exercise is being conducted, there are certain things which have changed into the background. Now, guys, number one, there is a continued impasse that is going on between the Iran and USA. Though new president had come into the US, but still there is no clear-cut strategy that how the joint comprehensive plan of action, which was scrapped by the Trump, can again be brought onto the table, and how Iran can be put into a situation where they endorse the promises with respect to reduction into the uranium enrichment that they are taking. Moreover, there have also been the Abraham Accords which have been signed. Now, into the Accords, a normalization of relations between the Israel, the UAE, as well as the Bahrain had come, which will further be bringing the peace into the region. Now, guys, all these high profile exercises and agreements that are going, it simply shows that the West Asia is a very important region, and therefore such kind of exercises and agreements are common. But, guys, into the Desert Flag, one peculiar thing we can see that the participation of India and South Korea is there. Now, guys, South Korea's participation particularly shows that how increased engagement between the Asia and the West Asia is being seen. Now, guys, it is very clearly known that the Asia is completely dependent onto the West Asia with respect to their energy requirements, and various strategic sea straits are also passing from the West Asia, such as the Strait of Hormuz, Gulf of Aden, Red Sea. Now, guys, from these strategic sea lanes, even the Asian electronic goods are also reaching the European market. Therefore, bringing the peace and stability into the West Asia is very much vital even for the East Asia. Now, guys, further into the article, it has also been provided that the USA's stronghold onto the region is also reducing. For example, after 1985, for the first time, the USA had not imported any oil from the Riyadh. The failure to reach any kind of agreement with the Iran is also symbolic that the USA's stronghold is reducing. Moreover, at the same time, it has been seen that the Iran's assertiveness is increasing. For example, guys, in past in 2013, Iran confiscated one of oil tanker of India named as Desh Shanti onto the charges that it was violating the environmental norms. And now in 2021, it has confiscated one of the oil tanker of the South Korea onto the same charges that it was also violating the environmental concerns. So, guys, So, guys, here the decline of the USA and assertiveness of the Iran gives a kind of an indication that India as well as other South Asian countries need to play a important role, that directly how they can deal with the West Asia into this particular direction. Often the idea of Asian nation to form a kind of an importers OPEC has also been floated, so that they can dictate their own terms of prices and all such kind of things. And guys, apart from these economic concerns, the security footprint into the West Asia is also to be consolidated by the India, and into this particular capacity, bilateral naval exercises and all such kind of initiatives can play an important role. So guys, this is all which has been provided into this article. I hope you have understood it, and now we'll move to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and here we can see a substantial reform that has come into the education. It has been provided by the AICTE, that is the All India Council for Technical Education, that maths and physics will no longer be compulsory subjects for getting admission into the engineering institutions. Now, it has been provided that it is in line with the new education policy 2020, which has envisaged a multidisciplinary approach. Further, it has been provided that the university will offer the suitable bridge courses into the mathematics, physics, engineering, drawing, etc. to the students who are coming from the other domains, and if they are facing the problem. Now, guys, it has been provided that the attempt of the new education policy is to break the silos and to promote the multidisciplinary approach, and such a step will be helping into that particular direction. So guys, this is all which has been provided into this article. You don't need to go too much into the details. Just if a kind of a recent reforms are being asked into the question, you can talk about it. So guys, that is all about the today's newspaper analysis. I hope that you have understood it. Thank you so much.